Must. He's the Alpha, the first. This is DJ Nicholas on the show. When you hear the trumpet or the flute, know it's a battle. Time to put your vehicle in a drive, ready to travel. Like Mary, you are going to put it on shackle. When the war so easy, and me body. And when the command them there, the man
who can John them there? Well, the man them in the place. Greetings, man from Warren Point to Nick Grill all across the world. This is the mailbox. It's March 11, 2026. Imagine 11th already. And today we're looking at men's mental health. Men's mental health. I'm Kevin Bailey. In an article entitled A Deep Dive into Jamaican Men's Health, written by Dr. Jeremy Thomas, a consultant urologist in the Jamaica Observer, December 3rd, 2023, states that it's wrong to assume that men don't struggle simply because they are expected to be strong and silent. Media and television more often portray crying men as something to be scoffed at. Mocking this healthy human emotional release only serves to discourage men in talking to others about their difficulties and seeking the necessary help. Recent suicide rates in Jamaica show that men are 4 times and as high as 9 times more in 2006 more likely to do so, that is, suicide, than women. This is no doubt related to less males seeking medical care and more so for psychiatric disorders because of cultural undertones and the expectation that a man should not show weakness. There is an amusing social media clip currently that says, "Man for be a man and not no weak jelly back," really. As much as I believe in the man being the protector and provider of the family, he shouldn't have to feel that it is a sign of weakness to open up, display emotions, and seek help for depression instead of keeping it in and engaging in unhealthy vices, in some cases, such as substance abuse. Venturing into the often underestimated realm of mental health, we recognize the intricate connection between mental and urological well-being. Stress, anxiety, and psychological factors aren't isolated concerns. They are threads intricately woven into the fabric of holistic health. This is the program designed for men with guest women hosted by men, and it's aired every Wednesday unless it's a holiday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101, your family station. It's a mailbox. I said I'm Kevin Bailey, my co-host right here.
Hey, I'm Courtney Morrison. Thank you, Kevin. And to all our listeners, thank you for making it Love 101 and making it your station of choice. We are talking about men's mental health. Yeah, men's mental health is a critical issue, and if not addressed correctly, may lead to suicides, often driven by reluctance to seek help and stigma. Common issues include depression, anxiety, PTSD, and substance misuse, which may manifest as anger, escapist behavior, or physical pain rather than sadness. Haven't we witnessed that regularly? Today, our special guest, as was last week, Dr. Paul Smith, clinical psychologist and president of the Jamaican Psychological Society, will be sharing key strategies to deal with mental health, including fostering open communication, regular exercise, yes, setting boundaries, and assessing professional support. Yes, that's what we're dealing with today. Yes, Kevin?
No, it's good to have my friend and colleague, Dr. Paul Smith. Let me talk a little bit about him. He's a clinical psychologist and president of the Jamaica Psychological Society. And he has been a clinical psychologist with over 17 years of clinical experience. He operates at Ward Mount Medical Center, 37A Ward Avenue in Mandeville. He's a minister of religion and primary director at Love and Restoration Ministries. He's a justice of the peace, marriage officer, grief management counselor, family counselor, premarital counselor, conference speaker and motivational speaker. He did a great job at our Keswick conference when he spoke on Thursday night as well. Dr. Paul Smith is the president of the Jamaican Psychological Society, JAMPSych. He diagnoses and treats mental illness and mental disorders. His motto is, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain. Welcome again to the mailbox.
Thank you. It's so good to be on. Good evening, gentlemen.
Greetings.
Listen, it's so good to hear about what we have in common. When I just got saved, the song that meant the most to me was this song too. If I can help somebody as I pass along. You know, it's very important to know why God called us and why we're here and our purpose on earth. Good to have you, Dr. Paul. Good to have you with us. It is just tremendous to have you with us again. Thank you. So, man and man, remember, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Remember, you can leave your comments via WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or call our studio lines at 876-968-8327 and 876-968-8328. Also, we are on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. We have a program.
That's right. Yeah. And ladies, I say, well, you know, we can't do without the ladies. You know? So we want you to participate. So we're asking you to respond to this question. How do we encourage our men to seek help for their psychological issues? Ladies, we want you to answer that question. How do we encourage our men to seek help for their psychological issues? You can participate in the program by leaving us a message via WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube. Remember, ladies, do not leave any voice notes or calls. Encourage the men to do that, right? So this is their space. So, Courtney, you have to do a shout out for, you know, a reminder.
Tell some of voice to shout out. Anyway, let's do the shout out. As is our tradition, as is our custom for the past 13 years. Yeah. What we do at this time is that we count to 3. 1, 2, 3. We ask our guest, Dr. Paul Smith. You have been here with us before, and we're going to show Monday. All right?
Yeah.
So after 3. 1, 2, 3.
Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, gentlemen. And once you hear that shout, you know the guest is live with us as well. But before we head into the main discussion, it's now time for us to get into the segment we dub draft. Direct response for the featured theme. Where we preliminary open the way to our main segment. Here's a question we're asking you, Dr. Paul Smith. Are we doing enough as a society to encourage our men to seek help with their psychological issues? Yes or no? Are we doing enough as a society?
All right. I think there is a move to put men in that spotlight where they're helped, but I think that we have a far way to go. We have a way to go, but I think we have started. In comparison to other times, I think that we have started, but I think we have a way to go.
All right. So you're saying we have moved forward, but we still have a way to go. Good. And I want to encourage our men as well. Yeah, it's good to seek help. We know the stigma over the years, but let's try to see where we can go with that.
Yep, definitely. And we're going to go, of course, deep dive into some of those things as we continue the conversation, Dr. Smith. Just want to remind our listeners that we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. You can leave your comments via WhatsApp line 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Or you can call our studio lines 876-968-8327. That's 876-968-8327 and 876-968-8328. Also, we're on TikTok, Love 101 FM Jamaica. So, before we take our break, Dr. Smith, who do you think are groups or individuals that are making the effort to destigmatize, to make normalize men going for help? You know, from where you sit, is it families? Is it groups? You know, what's the sense, or is collectively as a country that we're getting men to feel more comfortable in seeking this help?
Very good question. And I would say that to a large extent, I see groups, you know, starting the process, you know, even through this program as well. You know, I see groups going around and having presentations to men. I also see families, you know, encouraging men to go and seek mental health. So sometimes I might see the family before I see the man, you know, and they are encouraging the men that, boy, it's long time you're not doing so well, and we want you around. You are important, so why not? Let us follow you. And sometimes the family will accompany them to counseling. They might say outside of the session, but they are sending a message that, hey, we are here. So I see groups and I see families, but I also see men. I see men taking the initiative and say, hey, counselor, I want help. Can you help me? I see an increase in that. And when I see men like that, I have to big them up. I have to encourage them. I have to crown them because they were bold enough to recognize that something is wrong and I don't have the resources and I need help. And it takes a big man to do that.
Oh,
Doc, thank you very much for that. I was just about to ask encouragement. It looks like, what does it sound like? Because sometimes we may think we're encouraging, but sometimes, you know, it may come over. What level of sensitivity? How do we know what to say, how to encourage? You know, can I hold your hand, or do I say man up? How do we encourage them to seek?
We can't talk down to them. We have to understand where they are, how men respond, how men communicate. We have to start from a place of empathy and not criticism or not being judgmental. Yes. And men do not like to be judged. Yeah? So it's out of empathy, so out of a need that I need you to survive. And it's coming from that space, not to be coerced into it. And if you don't go to counseling, I go left you. Yeah? And if threats go out, men will not warm up to that. But if they see that you're genuinely concerned and you are encouraging and you have a presence, men will respond to that. But the harsh criticism, just as though some persons tell the men if they don't get saved and baptized and go to church, them going to hell headway and that kind of thing. We have to be gentle and understand where the man is. Yeah? And even before I get into it, you know, a number of men that I meet, well, the main things that the concerns they have is that they're afraid to be judged. And they believe that the counselor, the psychologist, has already cast that judgment before he even starts the session. And sometimes they mention the court system, how they perceive the court system to favor women. And so they believe that any other organization will favor the woman and buy the woman's story, and he has nothing to say. And so I have to create that safe space to say, hey, it's important that you're here. We want to hear from you. And so because of that, I don't take the stories from the women. I say, leave it until the session where it will be seen as if we're talking about this for the very first time.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. We're going to do our first break for the studio, speaking to Dr. Paul Smith, President of Jam Psych, among other hats that he wears. Kevin and Courtney in the place. We take our first break. We'll be back in a moment.
This is Love 101 FM, the family station. It's 5:45.
If you use music for any commercial purpose, you need a JCAP license.
Of course. And I benefit when my music is used commercially.
JCAP, the Jamaica Association of Composers, Authors and Publishers, protects the rights of its members and worldwide creators of musical works by issuing licenses for the use of these works.
If you use music for any commercial purpose,
You need a JCAP license.
comply with the law.
Call JCAP at 948-5937 and 948-6439.
Get a JCAP license now.
GT Sound Limited proudly presents The Experience Gratitude Edition with Prodigal Son, Ryan Mark, John Mark Wigan, Alicia Taylor, and more. MCs Nadine Blair and Markland Action Edwards. Tickets at spuropen.com/The Experience 26. Saturday, April 4, Manchester High School. Gates open 5 p.m., showtime 7 p.m. Come with your best praise as GT Sound celebrates 40 years.
Jamaica, are you ready? This is not just another church event. This is a prophetic revival coming to the island. Prophet Kofi Dancer will be live with miracles, breakthrough, healing, and the prophetic word for this season. If you need answers, direction, or you're tired of the same struggle, this is the night for you. The Olympia Crown Hotel, 53 Mullans Road, Kingstown 10, from the 11th to the 12th of March at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Come early and don't miss what God is about to do. This is your moment. This is your revival.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. You're live on Love 101 FM. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook and also on TikTok at Love 101 FM. We're talking about men's mental health, and our special guest today is the president of JAMPSych, the Jamaican Psychological Society, here to share with us how we can break stigmas, how it is that we can help our men. Co-host is here as well, Kevin Bailey. We don't know. Big up to him. He's also a counseling psychologist, so you don't know. So the program, I'm taking counseling, listening to both of them. And for those who are listening in as well. So we just want to, know a little bit more about Dr. Paul. You can just give us a brief minute or two of who you are, and then tell us a bit about what was your experience growing up. Did you ever envision yourself of being in this position? And Kevin's favorite question,
Lord,
did you ever have a gold spoon in your mouth?
All right, so I am people-centered. I love to see people grow mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and some other alleys. Yeah? I am interested in people's well-being, people's mental health. I love to see when people are taken from one stage to the next, and they come back to you and say, "Thank you, sir, for helping us to save our marriage. Helping my son to do better at school. The money does not compensate for this." It's words of kindness and the smile and the hugs. So that gives me the motivation to continue to do mental health. I grew up in Trelawney, and I grew up in a very poor family. But I think that's where I found my resilience. I said that poverty will not define me. My circumstances will not define me. I am going to define who I am. And I think I struggled throughout. I went to college, teachers college, and I struggled. But I think within me, I had a resilient quotient, and I drew on it. And I would say that I'm very resilient, yeah? Empathetic, but genuine. I try to be as genuine as I can, yeah.
And certainly I can attest to that, listeners. So you see him, so you get him, very authentic, and so making the connection. Now, Dr. Smith, why the focus on men's mental health and this project that you have undertaken? Talk to us a little bit about it and your involvement, initiation. How did this come about, this focus now? Because a long time, Courtney and I, talking and trying to challenge, encourage, and empower our men, and to know that you come now, people upstairs, big people like, a focus on this kind of thing. Talk
Oh,
to
come
us.
on. All right. I've always been interested in men's mental health. Always. Yeah. I have a brother who is schizophrenic, and you know, I had to see what the family went through in trying to cope with him. You know, even when I was doing my dissertation, I did on schizophrenia. I did a thorough research on schizophrenia, and also those who give care to these kind of patients, what they undergo, the mental health issues. But this is my first term as president of JAMPSYCH. And I sat down and I said, after I have finished my course, my time, I want to leave a legacy behind. And so I said, all right, my heartbeat is men's mental health. So I called a group together and said, all right, we are going to do a project on men's mental health. And the project will be for a year and a half.
Wow.
A year and a half. So it's not just any seminar or a webinar and then we are done with it and we move on. It's going to be focused on men's mental health. And so we have already started. We started last month with a webinar. And so we're going to have 6 series of webinars. Yeah. And I tell you that we had at least 80 men participating in the webinar last month. It was slated to begin at 6 o'clock and end at about 7:30. And we could not end the program 7:30. Men were just disclosing. Men were sharing openly because they had a safe space. They had things stored up for years and they were just unloading. And we had to give them the time to do that. Yeah. So it will end in July. At the second phase of it, we go face to face. So we go all around the island and we go face to face. And already people are calling me, church groups are calling that they want to set up symposium and conferences, and they want JAMPSYCH to be there. And so the calls are all over. Boys home are calling for that kind of intervention. A part of the program too is boys mentorship. And so we want to identify 3 schools, one in the West, one in Central, and one in the Kingston region. And we want to touch the lives of at-risk youth. Yeah? And we want to pair them with some positive male mentors who will work with them for 6 months. Yeah? For 6 months. And we want to go in and teach them mental health literacy, coping mechanism, conflict management, loving oneself, self-esteem, and all of that. You know, and already the Kiwanis Club from Montego Bay, they want to partner with us, you know, because that is a part of their mandate as well. So I'm super excited about it. We want to impact the lives of men and say, amen. You don't have to be afraid to be vulnerable, you know. And a weak man go counseling. It takes strength in a time of weakness to say, boy, I am ready to take on what is there. And so that is my passion. And as I said, at the end of the project, I'm going to do a research and action research to see how we try to reach men, if those ways are impactful any at all, you know, and that will inform us going on. So even after the year, I plan to still be there because we have to change some life and touch some life and make a difference. If we have strong men, we have strong families. If we have strong men, we have strong churches, you know. So we want the men to step up and say, hey, I'm not mentally fit and I want some help, and that is it. So face to face and on the platform, the Zoom platform, that's how we're trying to get them. We want to get the boys get on board and for them to express their emotions and to know what it means to be a man and get rid of the stereotypes that are out there. That's my passion. That's my aim. That's my goal. That's my destiny.
Loving what I'm hearing, and congratulations on the work you're doing and the organization that you're putting together. Probably, if you have not yet done this, I probably would like to make the suggestion. The Bureau of Gender Affairs has a male department now, And
Yeah.
I'm sure they would be more than happy to actually partner with you. You have Nashawn Miller and the director herself, Sean Coburn Robinson. They would, I am sure, but if not, I talk to you afterward because we do a little bit of that, you know. So the work that you're doing for me is sounding exciting, providing a safe space, ensuring that these stigmas are being broken. What are some of those issues? Probably we have to redefine the word weak and strong, and probably more use resilient and persistence. I'm not sure, because I love to tell people, a man who ball, you know, if you're strong enough, because you're ugly when you're ball, you know. So
Lord
in front of
have
every
mercy,
people,
man.
when you cry, a strength that take on a weak, you know. So what are some of these stigmas out there that are pervading society, that our men are facing, that needs to be broken, that some persons have defined as being man and real man? What are some of those stigmas that we need to be aware of? And
I share something with you, you know, because society has created a narrative as to who a man is, what a man is supposed to do. And I spoke to a gentleman yesterday in a session, and he had a tendency to shout at his wife when his wife is not carrying out his instruction. And the more she resists, the louder he shouts. And I said that, why not think about changing the approach? Why not soften it? And say, no. A man is supposed to be in control. A man is supposed to shout until he gets the attention he needs. And he's saying that if he softens his tone, he's not a man. Right? And so that is what society will say, that, hey, a man must be in charge by any means. Yeah? I spoke to a student at a college yesterday, and he said that men will not seek counseling. He would not seek it, because if he seeks counseling, he's going to be seen as a homosexual. He's soft.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was taken aback by that, but then it was very informative that these are some of the stereotypes that society has created. I look at how boys and girls are raised differently, you know, and I always use a simple example that, you know, Roy goes out and he has a fall and he hurts himself and he cries and he runs to mommy or whoever is there and or daddy, and they say, shut up your mouth, boy, you cry too much. Where you cry for? You're soft too much. Go tie out the goat. Mm-hmm. And runs out and has the same incident, you know, and mommy or daddy say, come my sweetie pie, my sugar plum, oh my God, let mommy dress it for you, let daddy dress it for you. And so the girl feels safe that she can express herself even by crying. If she's hurt, she can express herself. But the boy becomes an adolescent and believes that it is wrong to cry, it's wrong to express hurt and disappointment. Then he becomes a man and probably takes on a family and find it hard to express his emotion, find it hard to say to his spouse, I love you, find it hard to embrace his children because he grew up on that kind of narrative. So the stigma that society has created, the stigma that men have embraced as well, has been true, you know, and just the fact that society judges man for being vulnerable, yeah, that's an issue as well. And I think we have to try to change that narrative that counseling is just for women. And so sometimes when I have clients and it's supposed to be a couples therapy, and
Dr. Paul,
yeah,
just pause a little. We have to take our second break, but we're
all
going
right,
to come back and catch you where you are. This is the mailbox. Dr. Paul Smith, Kevin and Courtney in the place. We take our second break to studio, and then we're going to be right back after this.
I am a man. I am a man. I am a man. I am a man. Yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man. Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life. While we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
6 o'clock. Me just never did I get through with no work, you know. And me did I get desperate. Till one day me see one ad, but them want somebody for work at a massage parlor. Trust me, the place was nothing like them advertised. From the very first day, I had to be giving much more than massages.
Verify the legitimacy of job advertisements with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call the nearest police station, 119 or 888-PROTECT. A message from the Ministry of National Security and Peace.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on Habashco. Get it on Habashco. Bashco. For everything where you need. Bash quality service guaranteed and Habashco. Get it on Habashco. Gives you more. Yeah, Bashco. Get furniture for your house, then linen everything for your kitchen, rugs, mugs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back. This is the mailbox. Here, strong man, integrity.
Strong man.
Welcome, man.
And you all know, say it's Kevin. You know, say it's Kevin do that, right, Dr. Smith?
So I heard, you know,
Kevin Peach, right?
Very impressive.
Yes, man.
But I know
I grew up, I want to be just
time,
like him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. No, we have here Ferran says, whoa, Dr. Smith. She says, please consider Low River Primary and Infant. For that, Dr. Smith, that's where one of your friends work. And a smiling voice there.
Low River.
That's
where in Trelawney?
Yes, in Trelawney.
Low River is in Trelawney. Where is it?
It's in Trelawney.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before we took that break, we want you to finish up, and I want you to answer all listeners what really is mental health. When we just say mental health, because I know we talk the term, but our listeners may want to know what's the definition. How do I know that there's some things happening? How do I know I have good mental health? And then when it's not so good, then I know this is happening, and that's when I seek help. So when you're finishing up, I would love you to address that, Dr. Smith.
All right. So I'm just saying too that when you talk to men, they're afraid to become vulnerable, even with their partners, because some will say to you that if I share with my partner and become vulnerable, then you're not going to hear the last of it. So they're saying that sometimes the partners, when they become angry and there's a conflict, they bring up that which was shared. And so the lack of trust to kind of be open. And so some men will say, I will never allow my female partner to know me fully because I can't be so vulnerable as a man. You know, so these are some of the issues, you know, that men will face, the stereotypes, you know, how they even stigmatize themselves and define what is a man, and probably sometimes lack of support from family members to seek help.
Oh,
all right. So according to the World Health Organization, simply put, mental health has to do with what you think, how you feel, and how you behave. It's the ability to cope with stress and to make wise decisions, good decisions, and to have good interpersonal relationships.
Wow. So if a man finding himself overwhelmed and realize he needs help in this way, I'm not thinking right, I'm not sure I'm going to make the right decision and all of that, then we would say it might be a sign that he need some support. And so
support, you know, and broadly speaking, men go through depression. You have a lot of men who are depressed because sometimes so depression is a mood disorder. It affects how you feel, it affects your mood. But you can't just get up tomorrow and just say, I feel depressed. That's not depression. Depression is a clinical diagnosis. So for 14 consecutive days, you have that mood swing or that mood disorder, then we can call it depression. If it is less than that, it might be heading towards, but it's not there yet. Yeah. So some person might just have mood swing and say, "Oh my God, I feel so depressed." It's not depression. It might just be a mood swing or a up and down time. But men have depression. Men go through post-traumatic stress disorder as well. But these issues men might be impacted differently than the women. Yeah. So the woman might call a friend, a cousin, a family member. She will cry sometimes. She will holler sometimes. She will bawl sometimes. She do have a problem in going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You know, the man thinks that he has to tough it out. Yeah. And just as so some men are reluctant to seek medical attention. So for the past 2 weeks, the man has been having a splitting headache. And he said, "Boy, for the past 2 weeks, that hurt me bad, you know." And somebody said, "Why not go to the doctor?" I said, "Boy, me would have go in, but me I watch it first. I watch it first." Yeah. And that is the approach to mental health as well. And so some men are more kind of, they internalize it. So they might watch their behavior. They might be a bit more aggressive. They might be a bit more withdrawn. They might be suicidal and sometimes carry out the act as well. They might not express to you how they're actually feeling. So sometimes they might smile and you think that all is well, but all is not well. They are not coping well with financial issues. They can't take care of their family members, Probably when they were smaller, they witnessed, domestic violence at home, and they grow up and they have similar tendencies as well. Some will go to the rum bar and just drink it out. Some will resort to substance use and that kind of thing. And so that is how they do it. And sometimes it's hard to know that they're going through something because they wear a mask. Because it's not manly to show who you are. And that can become problematic. Yeah? And so sometimes they will not seek the help because it's not manly to go to a shrink. And see
but
that.
Doc, isn't there also, I'm listening to all these symptoms and I'm saying, whoa, has not those behaviors become fairly normalized to the point where persons are thinking this is male behavior?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
How do we now see the man going to the drink and drown his sorrow, as the scripture would put it, or he's in depression 14 days straight? And he's thinking, this is how we behave, we're man. So the thing's said. How do we get support and be able to convince and move the gentleman from that? It sounds like that requires a certain level of sensitivity that the public doesn't yet have. How do we?
We don't have that yet. We're not there yet. And as you rightly said, that kind of behavior is normalized. Yeah? So it's all right to go to the bar and just drown my sorrows. It's all right. Society has accepted that. Yeah? But I think we have to start the conversation. And it must be a conversation. Yeah? It must be a conversation and different groups, interest group. And I can't leave out the church. I just believe that the church needs to make some more concerted effort to get our men together. And if you don't have the resource as a leader, get somebody and invite them and have the conversation and respectfully ask the ladies not to come. That's what then, because the men need a safe space to express themselves. So we have to have the conversation. We have to normalize the fact that it's not weakness to seek help. And that a man has emotion and you can express your emotion in healthy ways. If you feel overwhelmed and you want to cry, it's okay. We have to say to men that it's okay not to be okay sometimes. Because that is just the dynamics of life. Life throws things at us at times and we just don't feel okay. We need environment. We have to educate the spouses as well, family members, how that they treat men. When a man says money, what do you do? Do you quarrel? Do you call him worthless, good for nothing? Are those the vocabularies or are you supportive and say, I understand, because I know that when you have money, you do care. You know, let us see if we can make some plans. Or if you don't have money this month, let us see if I can cushion some of the bills. But that support system has got to be there, and it must be non-judgmental, more empathy and concern.
Wow. You know, and you keep saying important words like empathy. Sister Riri says, Monday, good evening. If someone is struggling with mental sickness, I would encourage them to get help, pray, trust God, know God's got them. Counseling is a must. Yeah. Check out Pastor Courtney Morrison and the team, man. That is Sister Riri.
Sister Riri. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dr. Smith, why is it sometimes that it appears, and you can tell me, it appears that the society supports women, children, and almost like it's hard for them to support the empowerment of men. Like let them think the men can take care of themselves. The men have it together. The men, them, in fact, the men, them are the problem. So why should I even care about the men? No, don't talk to me about that, because sometimes that's a feeling we get, you know. What's your observation and your take?
Similar. And I used to quarrel a lot when it comes to Father's Day. Me curse.
Yes.
I used to curse a lot.
Yes, sir.
Because you know that when mothers, and respect to mothers, but when Mother's Day is coming, you know before May, you know. Yeah? And you go into the stores and you see all these nice things, and you have so many choices as to what you can give to your mom. And then when it comes to Father's Day, it's on the kind of low scale. And what I realize is, as a result of that, is that people just say that fathers are worthless. Jamaican fathers, worthless. And I want to debunk that, because they're excellent fathers around. Excellent fathers around. When it comes to Father's Day, the narrative is that man not take care of them picnics, so they must get anything. And that in itself can create mental health issues for men. Because they don't feel a sense of importance. You know? They don't feel as if they belong. And in some instances, you have where the man and the woman are separated and the children are left with the woman. And you have some women, that is, who will kind of discolor the image of the man and tell the children, say, boy, your father not good. Yeah? He never used to take care of you and do everything. And so the children grow up with that narrative and believe that it is actually so. And in some cases, it's not. Yeah? And so we need to change that narrative that men are important. Men are leaders. Men are nation builders. Men are the rock of society, and try to build their self-efficacy and say, come on, you're a man, and if you're not feeling, because you want it to be functional, fully functional, mental health is important. Self-awareness is important. Why am I always so angry? Why am I always so aggressive? It calls for self-awareness and support, because our men can do it. And I mean that men are stepping up to the plate now to do it. But we want the other men to come on board and normalize mental health conversations.
Awesome. You know, Doc, thank you very much for bringing us to the place of understanding some of the responses that our men give, because far too often I believe we are misunderstood, or we are told you're just making excuses. And as such, then the responsibility even feel more burdensome. I hear Our Reality 1993 saying, first time listening, I'm a man and this is impactful. Good discussion. We're going for our final break at this point. I also say welcome to members of the men's group from Feltham Portmore are listening. Sir Lytton Dawkins, good to have you listening in as well. We want more men to come on and listen. 6:15 it is right here inside of Love 101. We return you to studios. We got to pay some bills. We'll soon come back.
Angelica, are you ready? This is not just another church event. This is a prophetic revival. Coming to the island, Prophet Kofi Dancer will be live with miracles, breakthrough healing, and a prophetic word for this season. If you need answers, direction, or you're tired of the same struggle, this is the night for you. The Olympia Crown Hotel, 53 Mullans Road, Kingstown 10, from the 11th to the 12th of March at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Come early and don't miss what God is about to do. This is your moment. This is your revival.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man.
Welcome back to this, our final segment of the program, The Mailbox. Kevin and I are here together, Courtney, along with our special guest, Dr. Paul Smith, the president of the Jamaican Psychological Society, here discussing men's mental health, how we can break the stigmas. What are some of those stigmas that we have? And he has given us a definition of mental health. Are men really seen as being undervalued? I was going to give Kevin all the things, because Kevin was brave in asking a question before we go for the break, and I thought Dr. Paul Smith was even braver in responding the way he did. Chris Rock said it, that it only seems as if women and pets are unconditionally loved, but men are seen for what they provide, or love for what they provide. Is that one of the stigmas that needs to be broken so that we can get to the where our headspace is as men? Help us with it, Doc.
Absolutely.
You started answering it,
Yeah, absolutely. So if men are seen as just providers or mainly providers, then when they can't provide, something happens and they can't provide, then they're tempted to feel less than. The thing that I said to them, I don't know why you become like this. I don't want my children to ever become like this. And so I think that in some regards, because of how society defines what a man is and what a man ought to do, there's much more to a man than that. There's a person behind just providing. I'm not saying you ought not to provide, but there's a personality you ought to capture and know and appreciate. Men love to be appreciated, and to be bigged up, as it were, and to be praised. I just like the shirt you're wearing. It looks nice. I think you're a wonderful. So affirmation is also good. I think you're a wonderful father. You're a wonderful listener. I think you're the most handsome man in the world.
Yes.
Those soft skills. And the man can say, wow, I feel appreciated. When it comes to Father's Day, cook the man a nice meal, man, and put a crown upon his head and say, boy, we respect you, we love you, that kind of thing. And I think if we do that, affirm men and not just curse them when it comes to Father's Day. And you hear some women say, boy, I'm my father, my children, them. Those kind of things, and happy Father's Day to me as a mother. Those kind of things. I think we have to change the narrative. We have to start with our boys from early and teach them that they're important. Have that conversation with them. Tell them it's all right to struggle, but guess what? You are resilient. And the boys will grow up with that self-confidence, believing in themselves because they have a support system around them. And I have a presentation later, you see, and I want to look at mental health and the family, because the family can create mental health challenges and they can also cure it, as it were, you know. But the men need to feel as if they are respected, they are loved, and even if they can't provide for a week, they are still valued. Yeah? And they have a personality, they have a sense of humor. All of these things, you know, are important, and spouses can help to bring this out in their spouses as well.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. You mentioned that the church can play a part. Could you help us? You know, persons think that because I am a Christian, and if I am really filled with the Spirit, why am I depressed? Why am I having anxiety disorders or schizophrenia or whatever it is? Therefore, I'm not facing that. I mean, because I'm a child of God. How do we help people? And is there evidence in the scripture that men of God, you know, would face these things? And I'm asking you because I know your presentation. But I want our listeners, to know how we navigate that.
Yeah, man. And I'm going to start on this point. That's something that some persons within the church, we tend to spiritualize mental health, mental illness, mental challenges. And Sister Ray created a balanced response. She said that we need to pray to God and ask for help and trust God and know that God has us. But she also said that counseling is a must. Yeah, that's a balanced approach. But there are some churches who might say it's not good. It's demonic to feel depressed. Yeah, it's demonic to have anxious moments. And so when that narrative is created in church, it creates a gap because men will now be afraid to say, I feel depressed. Because everybody might start jumping around me, yeah, and licking out the demon. And I don't want to go through that trauma. So I say nothing. I just tough it out. I praise the Lord when I go to church. But deep inside, I am hurting. There are things happening internally that I have been struggling with for 5, 15 years. And I don't have an outlet to let it out. And so church does not become that safe space that I wanted. I just believe that churches can start to create, not just have men's fellowship meeting, but just have persons coming in and have a week where you concentrate on the men and give the men a chance just to breathe and to be. Some men are suffocating emotionally. They're suffocating. They look like them all right, but they're not all right. If you touch them with your little finger, them drop down. These are the issues that are there with them. And so I think we need to change that. We need to change that church. You look at the first person who comes to mind from the Bible is David. David went to a time of depression. And he spoke himself out of, say, why are you cast down, oh my soul? Why are you so quiet? I know me that, you know. And he inspired hope, you know. So David had his moment. Elijah had his moment. He was depressed. And he became suicidal as well. Yeah? So men, they have these kind of issues. I want you to realize that men need to have that space where they can just let out what men want to talk. They just don't know how to do it. They don't know who to trust. But I think men want to talk. Yeah?
You know, I agree with you very much. Men want to talk.
Man. Men want to talk.
Put them around a domino table.
And they will
talk about a football game.
Yes, and they'll talk. They'll talk. They'll talk to the bartender.
I remember once there was a young man who needed some counseling, but I didn't use the word counsel. I invited him to come sit down with me and we're going to eat some chicken at KFC.
Yes.
And after about 3 hours of eating KFC chicken, I never realized that chicken not takes so long to eat. Right?
Yes.
He said to me, you just finished counseling, don't it? Got it. How do we make our men feel more relaxed and comfortable? So as you say, it's non-judgmental, it's empathetic, it's sympathetic, And our Christian men who don't believe Christian men can have even suicidal thoughts, as you pointed out, Elijah. How do we get them to understand that even our mind is where we're be transformed by the renewing of mind? Tell us a bit more. Because some don't believe this.
Sensitization, education. But you know what is powerful? The being in the same boat feeling. Because even when I had the first webinar for the men, there were men who were not speaking out initially. But when a particular man came out and said, I have been struggling with suicide for the past 5 years because I feel as if I failed my family. I lost my job and I feel less than. And when that man started the conversation, it could not end because others were saying that I am going through the same thing right now. So you see, being in the same boat to say you're not alone, other men are going through it as well, it does make a difference because sometimes you be that you're the only man going through that when others are going through it. So we need to start that conversation. We need to be gentle with it. And we probably need to avoid certain jargons as well. Yeah? We say, boy, you're mentally ill. But you might have some mental challenges, some mental health challenges. So we have some kind of words that we'll use sometimes that will probably scare the men away, you know. And as you said, probably instead of using the word counseling, we say, boy, we're going to reasoning, those kind of things, words that men can relate to. And they don't have to use defense mechanism to say, no, I'm not going there, you know. And just normalize the whole conversation, you know, say, my youth will go on. You know, I would just start a conversation there, build relationships with men. And there are some persons, boy, them go to church and they see the man on the road corner burn the weed and they're not called to them, you know. And as they come to crusade, hi, my brother, I'm inviting you to church. No, we need to have conversation with men, even outside church, in the community, wherever they are, and just talk to them. And so when you think you need to reach them, it's not hard because you have a relationship with them already.
Wow. Lots of things there, you know, and look at time at us. A question here, what about the macho stereotype, man? And what words would you give to that man? Any thought on that? And then really a final thought. I mean, just what can men do to protect their mental health? You know, and any tips on that? You know, you have said quite a lot, but kind of put it together. And anything else? So, how can we protect our mental health?
Yeah. So you start with changing your perception of mental health. Yeah, that it is okay to seek help. Just as you're sick and you go to the doctor, mental health is just as important as your physical health. And if you're not well mentally, it's going to affect you physically as well. So take care of the whole man, you know, and take the courage to seek help. And don't watch the narrative out of it, because you can change the narrative by making the change as well. You want to be around for your families. And so many families have lost their men to violence and all kind of thing. And sometimes it's mentally health related. So I'm just saying to men, take the courage, love yourself, appreciate who you are. But if you know that you are not well emotionally, just reach out. There are persons who are empathetic like me who will listen to you and help you. There are many persons like myself.
Doc, thank you very much, Dr. Paul Smith. I'm hoping you can send us some information on those seminars that you're having so that we can post them out, you know.
Absolutely.
Because I have some young men who have been asking, are there sessions like these that are available? And so I just need to get them going. That's it for the show, everybody. Can you imagine? It's already 6:29. So we thank you to Dr. Paul Smith, clinical psychologist and president of the Jamaican Psychological Society, to Jermaine Johnson, our producer, Niku Angus, our technical support. We end the show with this. There is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't. John Green said that.
That's right. That's it for our show this week. Catch you next week, Wednesday, March 18, 2026. Same place, Same time inside the mailbox, as we would have said, Monday up.
Monday up. Blessings.
Thank you.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Here to the Family Radio broadcasting from